What's going on, y'all? Eric Cline, and I'm here to tell you why you are not going to fail like 95% of the people that get into the real estate wholesale industry. This industry has a 95% fallout rate. What does that mean for you? 95% of the people that get into the industry and try to generate contracts and income in this model, 95% of them fail. And I'm gonna show you 6 simple steps that if you follow, you get to be in the 5%. The 5% that actually make it, are able to put a financial fence around them and their family and create a life beyond their wildest dreams. Now, for some of you, you're probably like, Eric, how does it happen in 6 simple steps? Well, I'm about to break it down right now. But before we get into the 6 steps on why you will not fail, I want to just tell you a little bit about my journey in the industry and how I was able to, in 4 short years, dominate an industry that had been around for decades. I did not create wholesaling, real estate acquisitions. It's been around forever. But when I came into the industry, I never once came into this space saying I was actually going to get into real estate. I had spent a decade in another business model, which was marketing, virtual phone sales, and then fulfillment on the back end, doing millions and millions of dollars every single month in this space. It was the timeshare exit space. But what I look at this and that same model, I just look at the model, right? I didn't look at the actual industry. I looked at its marketing. And then we have sales. And then you have fulfillment on the back end. But what a lot of people getting into wholesale real estate think is I'm jumping into real estate. And you focus your activities, your daily tasks, on not the money-making activities. So what I want to do is I want to break this down for you. That way, just like me, my first 12 months in the industry, without knowing anything about real estate. And when I say nothing, like the only thing I had really done is purchased some homes for my family. I had never flipped a house, didn't know how to generate ARV or underwrite deals. A lot of the terminology that was being used in the industry was foreign to me. It was like it was a different language. So what I want you to understand is you do not need to understand real estate at the highest level in order to make money in this industry. My first 12 months, $2.6 million, 100% virtually over the phones. 3 years, $9.5 million, 100% over the phones. My first 3 years, 36 months, doing virtual real estate wholesale deals. Now, this is what I want to start with, and I need you to grab a pen and a paper, and I want you to write all of this down, because it's going to be super, super important that if you follow and if you master these, I promise you the results that you are looking for are behind these 6 steps. More importantly, the wrong message, the wrong information will set you back, and you will wind up like the 95% of the people that quit. So let's get into why most wholesalers fail and why you will not. 6 simple steps. Now, 1, write this down. Your belief system is not strong enough. Your belief isn't strong enough. You still are questioning whether or not this is real. You've seen maybe all the checks on social media of somebody cashing it, saying, oh, I made $10,000, I made $25,000. Dude, I've made multiple 6-figure deals, over a dozen deals, single deals, on an assignment over $100,000 or more. I've done over a dozen of them. Do the math on that. That's over $1 million on literally 12 deals. So what I want you to do is I want you to believe that this is real. I need you to believe that you can do this. When I first jumped on the phones and got into sales 15 years ago, heavily addicted to drugs, alcohol, very low self-esteem, was kicked out of the high school, kicked out of the military, 4 DUIs by the time I was 23 years old, 22 years old. My license was revoked in 2 different states. I had never read a book cover to cover. I had a hard time reading information and retaining it. So I want you to understand, if a guy like me can do it, you can do it as well. But you have to believe that you can do this. The concept has already been proven for you. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You have to put in the work in order to get the results. Real estate, even though this is sales marketing, it's in the real estate industry. We tailor all of our deals to investors. It's created more millionaires and billionaires than any other industry in the world. And real estate is going nowhere. So I need you to believe that this is real. Because if you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, it's not going to work. I need you to burn the boats. Now, I'm not saying quit your daytime job. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Now, when I went all in on this model, I went 100% in. I knew my skill set. I knew my ability. I came into this industry to build something massive. And I did it super, super quick. I burned the boats. Going back to your belief system, there's going to be people in your corner that are going to try to talk you out of this. They're going to say you're crazy. They're going to say you're being irresponsible. They're going to say everything. And more than likely, these are the ones that love you the most. They're not trying to hurt you, but they know no better. I'm not going to go to somebody that's never made multiple 6 figures in a month and ask them for advice on how to make multiple 6 figures a month. I'm never going to go to somebody in my family and ask them for advice on how to become a millionaire if they've never been a millionaire. So you have to watch who you're asking advice from or what message you're listening to. And again, sometimes this is going to be the ones that are closest to you. When me and my wife went to start our very first business, she was 8 months pregnant, we had very little money in the bank account, and we were renting a home at the time. We had never even bought our first home. Everybody in our immediate family said we were being irresponsible and we were crazy. We had a son on the way. We had a seven-year-old daughter. Our whole family thought we were crazy. If we would have listened to them, I would not be where I'm at today. It's not that they didn't love me, but they didn't understand what we were getting ready to do. Number 1, belief system. You have to believe in order for this to work. Then we're going to go into number 2. And again, we're talking about why most people fail. They do not do this stuff. They skip the basics. So number 2, you avoid the money-making work. It is a must do. You can YouTube all you want. You can go on Google and Google as much information as you want. That does not get you the deal. You must do the money-making work. You cannot get around this right here. YouTube University is only going to get you so far. You have to go find the deals. The deals do not find you. You got to be working on yourself, your mindset, your health. Because if you want to get results you've never had before, you got to create the person that's going to be able to get those results. I said I was a millionaire long before I ever had the money. Long before. I started chasing the man, not the money. And ultimately, when it came to doing these 6 things, I created the person that wasn't going to give up. Okay? You cannot avoid the money-making activity. That's training. And I'm going to go over that again later in the steps. But you have to understand sales. You have to understand that this is a momentum game. The more momentum is not given to you, it's created. Momentum is not given to you, you create momentum. What do I mean by that? You have to every single day take time to train. That's momentum. You're building the skills. You have to pick up the phone and make dials. You have to go drive for dollars. You have to study sales, right? You have to make offers. Every call equals an offer. Every offer gets you closer to a deal. Meaning, you cannot avoid the money-making activities. A lot of people, they start. It's like when you're getting ready to start a race and you hear the gun goes off. Your adrenaline's rolling. You start running as fast as humanly possible. If you've ever ran in a group, you've seen these people. They start so freaking strong. They're blowing everybody out of the water. 5 minutes into the race, they're at the back of the pack. They did not think about the long play that they signed up for. They didn't think about the checkered flag that was 2 miles away and they burnt themselves in the first 5 minutes. This is momentum. Momentum. Keep the excitement through the entire time, okay? Now, this has to be attached to this. You cannot avoid the money-making activities, meaning you have to understand why you're getting into this. Everybody on here, you're either running from a life you no longer want to live, or you're running towards something that you so desperately desire. But this will be attached to this. The work is gonna be your belief on why this is for you, why you can do this. For me, I spent 28 years living a life that I absolutely hated. Very low self-esteem. My family disowned me. I was broke as a joke for so many years. I disappointed so many people along my 28-year journey, but more importantly, I let myself down the most, right? I used to eat ramen noodles because I had to eat them, not because I wanted to. My bank account didn't allow me to eat anything else. So you will not avoid the money-making activity when your belief system and what you're fighting for is that strong. So again, if you don't get this one right, this one more than likely is gonna be an uphill battle for you because there are gonna be tough days. Listen, you can be one of two people and both of them you're gonna struggle, right? You can struggle being broke, living paycheck to paycheck, telling your kids or your family members, no, we can't do this. We don't have the money for it. The landlord knocking on the door, the cell phone bill getting shut off because you're not paying your bill. You not being able to provide for your family the way you know your family deserves it. So what are you gonna be? You're gonna be that one, struggling, or are you gonna do this, which there's gonna be struggles along the way. To get a life you so desperately desire, one, you have to believe it's true. You have to do the work. And there's gonna be days you feel like giving up. Trust me. There's gonna be days you feel like giving up. Not every day is gonna be just a walk in the park, right? They call it the 1% club for a reason. 99% of the people aren't willing to do what I'm willing to do and what you're getting ready to do. The 1% club, okay? So you cannot avoid the money-making activities. It is an absolute must. The deals do not find you. We have to go find the deals. Now, 3, you're talking, once you actually do the money-making activities, you talk too much. And you listen too little. I live by the 80-20 rule. 80% of the conversation should not be about the house. Write this down. 80% of the conversation should not be about the home. 20% of the conversation should. The one that talks the most is the most interested. So if you're just simply rambling, and you don't give the homeowner the time and attention that they need, where you ask the right questions to get them to start talking. Now, newbies think they need to sell the seller. You're wrong. You need to get the homeowner to sell you on why they're going to sell the property. Now, a lot of you think the reason you're on the phone with a homeowner is to talk about the condition of the house. If you're gonna get in wholesale real estate or real estate acquisitions, as I call it, we are in the business of buying deeply discounted properties. There's 3 leads. Write this down. 3 leads. The first lead is a distressed home. The home is distressed. The second lead is a distressed homeowner, meaning the home might look okay, but the person living in it, they're distressed. Or you have the third lead, which is the holy grail. You have a distressed home and a distressed homeowner, meaning the house looks distressed and the person inside looks distressed. The biggest deal I've ever done in this industry came from a beautiful home with a distressed homeowner. Most people would never have called the lead because the house looked too nice. The person on the inside is the one that had all the problems, and they were in serious distress, okay? So what we gotta figure out is we don't need to sell them on why we wanna buy the house. You have to figure out why they're on the phone with you. What do I mean by that? The real power is asking the right questions. Right here, you have to ask the right questions. Now, you need to figure out the why. A lot of you, trust me, and I see you watching the YouTube videos, all these different sales gurus, which it's disturbing on how some of them are teaching how to talk to a homeowner. Because this is what I don't advise anybody to do. Get on the phone and within your first couple minutes, start asking about, are you wanting to sell? How much do you want? This is what we can offer. You're gonna ruin the relationship and sound like everybody else that's ever called them. What we wanna figure out is why they're on the phone with you in the first place. Why are they getting ready to sell? More than likely the biggest asset they have attached to their name. You're not gonna drive the price down on somebody selling at a discount over the age of the AC or the roof. Yeah, you can negotiate with that a little bit, but you wanna know where you have real negotiating power? You figure out why that homeowner is on the phone with you and why the money they're gonna get for selling this house, what problem it's going to solve for them. That's what you have to figure out. And that's by asking the right questions. Separating yourself from the competition, knowing there's a bigger issue than the condition of the house. It might be the tenant inside. It might be their living situation at home. They may have someone ill in the family. They may be an older couple looking to downsize and move towards their grandchildren and spend the last years of their life with the ones they love the most. It might be that tenant in there that hasn't paid rent in 6 months and they're destroying the property. And when you ask them, why are you wanting to sell? And they say, I'm just done being a landlord. And you skip right past that and you don't dig in on the why. The why don't they want to be a landlord? Why after 20 years of having a rental property are you now wanting to sell? Understanding how to leverage third-party stories of prior transactions or maybe people in your family that have dealt with a situation like they're going through. So remember, it's not you selling the seller, that's wrong. The real power is asking the right questions to figure out why they are selling the house. The 80-20 rule, 80% asking right questions, building rapport, setting up the close, because if you do everything properly right here, asking questions, closing the deal is the simplest part of the entire process. The simplest part. Why? Because I'm willing to do the work most people aren't willing to do. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm trying to figure out why. Now, 4, fear of making the offer. Honestly, this is a lot bigger than you probably think. Where people say, I want to get on the phones. I want to get into wholesaling. I want to get these big, fat, juicy checks. And then when it comes time to do the work, you overthink it. Again, YouTube, there's only so much YouTube you can watch. What we got to be able to do is we got to do the money-making activities. So this right here is gonna come down to right here. You see how all of these are connected. Every one of these is connected to one another. Now, the fear of making the offer, you will never get a deal. You will never put a house under contract. It's absolutely impossible. It cannot be done. If you do not make the offer on the conversation, there's no way you can get the deal. It's absolutely impossible. I've never gotten a deal or a house under contract I didn't make the offer on. So this one right here, number 4, it is an absolute must. And what I want you to do is do not hesitate. Do not overthink it. Do not wait for perfect. I told you in the beginning of this video, what is the one thing that I struggled with? I struggled with underwriting deals. But what did I do? I knew I had to make triple E offers to get a good deal on the board. I struggled with underwriting deals. I was told, Eric, stop overthinking it. Give them 50% of what Zestimate said. If you're doing for sale by owner, give them 50% of what they have it listed for, and then just go up to a max offer of 65% of what they have it listed for. So I didn't overthink it. Every conversation equals an offer. If they say hello, it's your job to get them to an offer, okay? So do not overthink it. You're going to put homes under contract in the beginning that don't pan out for you. Let me just break the news to you. Not every deal goes to the closing table. But what happens in this industry and why most people fail, they put in this work. They believe it's gonna work. They think they're burning the boats. They start doing the money-making activities. They get the sales process down enough to put a house under a contract. Because if you make enough dials, you talk to enough people, and you make enough offers, eventually you're gonna get a deal. But then what happens? They put a house under contract, and they realize they've made the offer wrong. And they said, you know what? This isn't worth it. I'm throwing in the towel, and I'm going back to average. That is what makes up this 95%. They try it one time, it doesn't work, and they say, this is not for me. One deal can change your life. I said in 36 months, I've done over a dozen deals over $100,000. My average deal size per deal was just north of $22,000. So I want to ask you the question, if the first one doesn't work out, do you still see a light at the end of the tunnel of doing this right here to get a deal that could potentially make you $15,000 to $20,000? The answer is absolutely yes. So every combo equals an offer. Every combo equals an offer. If you are on the phone with somebody, you make the offer no matter what. Offers, 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 offers. Let's go over to number 5. Now, I want to be very clear here. Remember when I said momentum? This is a momentum game. Like anything in your life. It's like if you're in a car and you're at dead stop and the light turns green, boom, you put the gas on. The car starts going and it creeps up. It creeps up in speed. That's what you have to do. You're going to put your foot on the gas, meaning you're going to believe, you're going to do the work, you're going to ask the right questions, you're going to make as many offers as you possibly can. You're going to do this all day, every day, all day. If you can only do it part-time, do it part-time as strong as you possibly can. As you start getting momentum, you start dialing more numbers, having more conversations, making more offers. You're starting to get, hopefully, more confidence in what you're doing. The marbles are getting out of your mouth. You're starting to hear objections that you practice and can overcome where you have rebuttals for them, right? You're catching momentum. A lot of you think the beginning stages of not getting a deal where you're not getting anywhere. Yes, you're training, you're getting the reps in. I have 15 years of getting told no. I have thousands and thousands of reps in, right? So follow up, step 5 is your follow up is absolutely horrible. Meaning, You might call a number one time, maybe twice at most. Or you have a conversation with somebody, and maybe when you called them, they were having a horrible day, and they did not sound very good to you on the phone. And you said, that person is not motivated, I'm not calling them again. So you only attempt a potential motivated seller or a distressed house one time, because what they said to you on the very first call isn't what you wanted to hear. I can tell you right now, I've made millions of dollars off of horrible first conversations. Horrible first conversations. But I know most deals do not close on the first call. Why? That's 15 years of understanding this. 15 years of follow-up. And I'm telling you right now, the money is made on the follow-up. Very few of your deals are going to close on the first call. So a lot of you are going to call one time. You are literally going to call a deal one time, and you're going to think on that call whether that's a good lead or a bad lead. You're going to make your decision up on that call. Knowing, write this down, 80% of deals come after the fifth touch point. Think about that. For all of you that think you only need to call a lead once, twice, maybe 3 times, 80% of my money comes after the fifth touch. Think about how much money you're going to be wasting if you go in. Now remember, I do this 100% virtually. When I call somebody out of the blue, I have no clue what they're doing at home or what's going on in their world. So when I call them, I got a very small chance of everything going perfect on that call. Think of all the different scenarios. They could be walking to the phone to answer it, stub their toe, holy smokes, I'm the next person they have to talk to, and it's about selling their house. They're already distressed. F you, not happening today, they hang up on you. But you're like, oh, bad lead. No, you can't see through the phone. They stubbed their toe, and you just so happen to be the next person they said F you to. Or you call somebody, they're married with kids. Their house is in an absolute turmoil. The kids are getting ready to just destroy everything. Parents are at their wits' end. You call about their house. It's not the right time or the right circumstances for them to have that conversation. But nobody thinks about this. They just think, they didn't say what I wanted to hear. I'm never calling them again. I'm going to go on to the next. Knowing takes a minimum of 5 calls. 5 calls. I've had leads in my system. One of the bigger deals that I've closed, over $100,000, I had the lead for a year and a half. A year and a half. We had touched this lead over 56 times with calls, messages, voicemails. 56 times. But that one lead generated over $100,000. Okay? 80% of your deals will come after the 5th touch point. Make sure your follow-up is strong. Because this right here, horrible follow-up, is going to put you into the why most people fail. You have to get momentum. You have to get small conversations, as many of them going, that are going to lead into longer conversations, that are going to lead into offers, that are ultimately going to lead into contracts. Those small conversations, it's your job to extend them time and time again. Okay? Now, Number six. This goes with this right here. Number 6 is going to be people trying to avoid the work. Now, all of this, you're seeing how this ties in together. All of it ties in together. My opinion, this is the most important one right here. That's why I have it at number 1. Your belief isn't strong enough that you deserve or that this is real for you to prove a concept, burn the boats, and go all in for you and your family. Now, let's go into number 6, daily structure. I believe a lot of people say they want it until it's time to do the work, okay? They say they want that better life until it's time to do the work and go get the better life. So I'm going to give you an easy daily structure. Just simple. This is simple. This is money-making activities. You don't need to understand how to flip houses. You don't need to understand how to be a landlord. You don't need to understand a lot about real estate. If you're looking for somebody to take you by the hand and guide you, I'm the guy. And when I tell you that, I've gotten results in this industry nobody has gotten before. I've done millions and millions of dollars in my first 12 months. All right? Why? I focused on the money-making activities. So the daily structure, number 6, write this down. You have to train every day. You have to train every day, okay? I will tell you this, free only gets you so far. So and get as much as you can off YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, tell your friends. I give a ton of very valuable content. My free content is better than most courses out there. But you have to train daily. This is what I want you to train on. Sales and underwriting. Sales and underwriting. Sales and underwriting. But do not wait for you to be perfect at any of this. Imperfect action beats 100% of the time somebody that absolutely knows what they're doing but isn't willing to put in the work. So imperfect meaning you understand you got to pick the phones up. You understand you got to have a conversation with the homeowner. You understand you have to make an offer on every single phone call. Just freaking run to it. Do as many of those as you can. And as you put the reps in, you're going to see yourself starting to get more fluid on the phones. Again, you're going to hear an objection and you're going to understand how to overcome it. So I want you daily, start your day off with training on sales and underwriting. I would encourage you to get some type of a recorder and start recording your calls. That way you can go back and listen to the tape and you can hear how you sound, what you're doing good at and where you need to improve. It's called a calibration recording session, where you're calibrating yourself on whether or not you're doing it good, okay? Now, daily KPIs. Again, this right here is gonna be directly attached to not avoiding the money-making activities, okay? So, if you're doing this full-time and you do 60 to 100 outbound dials a day, 60 to 100, I know it's a wide range. If you're doing it part-time, cut those in half. But you have to do this daily. Daily activities. 60 to 100 dials, and I want you to make 3 to 4 offers per day. This is the recipe right here to getting a deal within your first 30 days. There's nothing anybody can tell me that it should take you 6 months to get your first deal. I listened to some of the people out there on social media saying it's taken me 6 months, it's taken me a year to get my first deal. Not for a second can I wrap my head around that. They did none of this right here. That's why it took them so damn long. They were inconsistent. They didn't believe it. They did it when they wanted to. They weren't sticking to a daily structure. They were not good at follow-up at all. They weren't making offers. They had no clue why the people on the phone were actually selling their house. They were just making blind offers, shooting a shotgun, hoping to hit something in the air. Well, we're going to be a sniper with what we believe, our daily actions, and our conversations, and how we make offers to these homeowners. And when you're a sniper, you can hit it much quicker than the other people that are out there. Okay? So, daily KPIs, 60 to 100 dials every single day. I want you to make 3 to 4 offers. And an offer is where you bring them all the way through a sales process, my 5-step sales process, if you are interested in really understanding sales at a high level and getting a script that if you put your hands on it and you can read it word for word, you're gonna get deals that 95% of the industry couldn't even think about getting. If you are interested in any of that, what I want you to do is comment below 5 steps and I got your back. So, you want to make 3 to 4 offers every single day, and in those 60 to 100 dials, I want you to get 3.5 hours of talk time. Now remember, I said in the beginning, this is a momentum game. You have to generate momentum. The only way you generate momentum is you do this every single day. Every single day. 60 to 100 dials, 3 to 4 offers, 3.5 hours of talk time. So what I would encourage you to do is I want you to get a notebook and I want you to label it at the top, today's date, and then put dials, talk time, offers. And then every day you're going to log these daily KPIs. And KPIs stand for key performance indicators. They are ultimately the numbers that if you hit, you get results. If you fail, you will not get results. Or it will take you what most people think is normal, and it's gonna take you 6 months to get a deal. I was able to get a deal literally on day 2 or 3 of me jumping into this industry without having anybody show me the way. And it's because I was an absolute savage with just dialing phone numbers, having conversations, and making offers that I didn't know if were good offers or not, okay? So, recap real quick. You have 1, you have to believe that this is real. I've already proven the concept for you. There's a lot of people out there that are way underqualified than what you are that have already proven it. Don't go and quit your job tomorrow. Let's get you a deal or 2. Let's get you some money in the bank, and then you have to burn the boats, okay? It is an absolute must. And then 2, you cannot avoid the money-making activities, which is a must-do, which goes here, the daily structure, okay? The reason you will fail and fall into the 95% of people in this industry, you think sitting on YouTube, getting YouTube University for 8 hours a day is doing the money-making activities. It's not. You have to apply, you have to implement what you are learning. The deals don't find you, you have to find the deals, okay? Number 3, you talk too much. And you listen too little. Asking the right questions to understand why they are actually selling their house. Again, the AC is important, but is not as important as you think. Guarantee if someone's fighting cancer, you can use that as motivation way more than an AC. So figure out the why. And then you have the fear of making an offer. You will never get a deal ever. It's absolutely impossible to get a deal you don't make an offer on the home. You can't do it. It just doesn't work that way. So do not overthink how to make an offer. Don't wait for perfect. Make the offer. Every combo equals a offer. Everyone. If they pick the phone up, you make the offer. It's your job to extend that conversation, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go over to 5 now. Follow up. The money is made. All of my wealth, 95% of my wealth, has been in the follow-up, making millions of dollars a year. Very few deals happen on the first call. This is momentum. It takes a minimum of 5 touch points before you get a deal. And those touch points need to be phone calls, text messages, voicemails, phone calls, text messages, voicemails. You can get real creative if you live in the local area. Go knock on their door. But just understand, if you call somebody one time, and they don't say exactly what you want to hear, that does not mean that's a bad lead. Remember the analogies I used. We're doing this over the phone. They could have been on their way to the phone, stubbed their toe. You were the next person they talked to. They treated you like shit. The house is a turmoil when you call them. Their kids have them going nuts. You pick up the phone. Hey, this is Eric with ABC Home Buyers. I'm looking to buy homes in the area. And their next thing is absolutely not, because their kids are driving them nuts. You can't see that. But you take that lead and you throw it in the trash, where I know it's never trash until they sell the house. Until they sell the house, I need to stay on top of them and get ready for the right time, the right circumstances, for everything to align. I'm in the right state of mind, they're in the right state of mind, and we get on a phone call together, and I take the time most people aren't willing to take. That's why most people fail. 80% of deals come after 5 touch points. Remember that. And then we go into 6, daily structure. Don't be the busiest, most unproductive person in this industry, because you will fall into the 95%. Again, there's only so much YouTube you can watch. There's only so much of me you can watch. What you got to do is you got to train daily on sales and underwriting. Sales and underwriting. You need to do your daily KPIs, which are not negotiable. Remember, the deal don't find you. You find the deal by doing these daily activities. Dials, talk time, offers. Dials, talk time, offers. That's what the life of a wholesaler is all about. Dials, talk time, offers. You need to do 60 to 100 dials every single day. Outbound dials. You need to get 3 to 4 offers out on homes every single day. And then you need to accumulate 3.5 hours a day in order to get to doing over 6 figures a month. Now, for you, you are not a bad wholesaler. You're not a bad one. You are just skipping the absolute basics of what gets you the life you are looking for. You're skipping the basics. When you never get away from the basics, you will never lose. So if you stick to this right here, you have my word, you have my promise, and you have my guarantee. This is what's going to get you rich. This is what's going to put a financial fence around you and your family. This is what's going to get you to that life you so desperately deserve. But remember, there's a reason I put this as number 1. Your belief isn't strong enough right now that you can actually go do it. So this is what I want to tell you before I end this video. If nobody has told you today that they believe in you, understand I'm the guy that believes in you 100%. Borrow my belief until you have enough of your own. Understand, if a guy like me can do it, you can do it as well. I got your back for life. Today's the day everything turns around for you. Follow these 6 steps, and I'll see you at the life you so desperately deserve. Hey, what's going on? I want to congratulate you for making it to the end. What does that mean? You're in the 1% club. No one else stuck around. You did. What I want you to do is subscribe. More importantly, comment below. That way I know exactly who you are and we can get to know one another. Every single week, by you turning your notifications on, you're not going to miss the sales training that's going to keep you in this 1% club. Comment below, subscribe. I'm going to see you in the next video. Let's continue to refuse to lose.